G'day my friends, welcome to Marty's garden. We've got a special tree for you today in the 2.0 Victory Garden, which we'll be doing the 2.0 Victory Garden in a separate video. But today this tree is going into here, and predominantly this is a no-dig garden. And no-dig gardens are great because they hold a lot of microbes and worms and all that type of stuff. And this is a second generation garden, so it's been already building up and really getting some good stuff going. And it's time to plant, which is my D crop, which is a kumquat. But actually in the Philippines, what do they call it, Hud?
Calamansi.
Calamansi. And so it's basically a little citrus. If you come in closer, you can see here some little ones starting on there. Now we're supposed to remove any citrus in the first year, fruits, on a grafted tree. So down here you can see where the graft is. If you come down close, hun, with the camera there, great job. You can see the graft there. Any little shoots that come up, we need to get rid of those, pull those off, and focus on a nice healthy tree. Now, because these little fruits on here, actually let's have a look. You can see they go orange when they're ripe, but we pick them when they're green, don't we, hun? Yeah, so these are like a ripe type when you pick, but they pick them in the Philippines mostly when they're green for the sourness. They replace vinegar and all types of like citrus meals, and it's in everyone's backyard in the Philippines really. But the thing is, in Asia they're growing more of it to produce for around the globe, in Vietnam and Indonesia and Thailand, places like that. But it's a great little tree, and we're going to put it into the garden. And it's autumn right now, which is the perfect time for planting because the soil is nice and warm, and also it's been raining a lot, so there's a lot of moisture in here. And I've slowly been building this up to make it nice and high, so it's good drainage, good airflow, and this tree will absolutely pump in this spot here. So come in closer with the camera, hun. Now, I've already given this a nice deep water, and it's just in one of these plastic grow bags. So what I do is I just squash it all around the outside to release any roots that are sort of like compacted onto here. And what we want to do is look and see if there's roots sort of wrapped around, and if there is, then we've got to fix that problem. So come in closer with the camera. You can see that's still pretty dry, but look, it's not a very hot day. There's some nice white roots here. There's not too much wrapping around where it's getting pot bound. So I really don't have to tease it up too much. If it was, I'd have to chop some roots and tease it right up. So firstly, what we're going to do is, I'm not worried about these little fertiliser balls. They'll just go eventually. It's really hard to buy organic trees, but they don't actually hurt the soil. So I'm not too worried about those. We'll get this down nice and deep, this hole here. And what I normally do is I plant, if I can, my citrus deeper than usual. But I always want to be able to see the graft. If I go below the ground with the graft, then we'll never know where the graft on the tree is. So we've got to keep that above the ground to there. So that's a good height. And we've got what we call a vase shape in this shape of the tree. And so we'll look at that as we're coming on. What we'll do, let's get the rest of that soil into there, and I'll pack this around the Marty's garden compost around the outside like this, and we'll get ready to water the tree in. I won't show you watering the tree in, like that's just sort of boring, you know, everyone sees that stuff, but you need to water it nice and deep because you want the roots going down chasing that water. Now here is a flood prone area. We get a lot of water come into our backyard here, so it's not chasing water as much as say other places would be in drier areas. And I like to really mound these trees up. The reason being is we get a lot of airflow going in to the sides of the plant into the root system. Now, most fruit trees have what they call surface feeder roots. So it'll throw the roots out to as far as the drip zone. As the tree grows out, the roots will grow out more. And I just keep feeding more compost on top as it's coming up and making sure there's enough distance where I can see the graft here. Now, next year what I'll do is, so we'll let this tree fruit up. We want to get a couple little fruit, even though I said we shouldn't. They only produce little fruits, so we might only get half a dozen. It's not really going to stress the tree out like a big lemon or something like that. So what we're going to do, it might even drop the fruits, we don't know yet, but we'll plant it in here. Now this spot, it gets sun all year round. And it's a really good winter spot as well. So through the summer, through the winter, and it's one of the hottest spots. So this type of tree does really well in the tropics, but it grows also in temperate. They have it all the way down in Melbourne. There's Filipinas growing it down there, hun. So it does well pretty much in all climates. It just doesn't want to be around frosts. And in a cooler climate, it just won't be as productive. Maybe it won't fruit twice. Like it probably will fruit twice a year here in this spot because we're in the subtropics, but it can grow in the temperate areas away from frost. Subtropical and tropical, awesome little tree. So what I've got to do yet is I've got to mulch around the outside of the tree. So we'll come back and do that a little bit later as well. You don't want to put the mulch too thick because we want, when it rains, for the water to be able to get in. We make the mulch nice and fluffy. So something like this. Just make it nice and fluffy. So there's plenty of no compaction and the rain can get through nice and easy. And then just keep pouring that compost on top and come in getting our fruit. Now if you come in closer, hun, with the camera, you can see it's split out in 3 ways there. And this is what we call a vase shape. Now, once this is done fruiting, what I'm going to do, and it's got some root into the ground, this is what I do with my fruit trees. I will remove these 2 main leaders of the vase and I will choose 1 leader. And I will make a brand new central leader to grow, which will probably be more than likely be this one here. And that one will be my main tree. And then it'll branch out again into another vase. So that's how I do it, because when I want them to do that, they grow a nice big root system that way and they're not trying to produce all this growth. As we step back, hun, as we're going into autumn and into winter, what happens is the plant will start sending a lot of energy and sap down into the roots. And then as it comes up back into spring, it'll pull all that energy back up, back into the tree. And it will just go absolutely crazy. So we'll watch it, see how it fruits up. We've got some beautiful little flowers here. Look, got a little white citrus flower. Can you see that, huh? Come in closer and have a look. How pretty that flower is. Nice, eh? Yeah. So it might flower right up yet. All right. So this is the 2.0 Victory Garden. We've got to put some grow bags down here. We've got to get some plants in here for the winter time. But predominantly, when these gardens finish, they end up being some type of perennial tree. And this is going to be the major perennial that will be here. And at the back, we'll just have some vining plants such as chocos and tomatoes and things like that. So this tree will eventually take this whole space and it'll be the 2.0 plant for Calamansi from the Philippines. They love this plant, which we call the kumquat here. They call it, actually, we'll get this right before we go, because this is really important. It's called Citrus microcarpus. So if you're ever looking for it, Citrus microcarpus, because they give it a lot of different common names. So if you're looking for the plant and you don't have it, highly recommended. Add it to your place for your self-sufficiency garden, and it's well welcome here. All right, if you've got any comments, anything to say, maybe you're growing one, considering growing one, let me know in the comments box down below. And we'll see you at the next video. I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing the 2.0 version on this and showing you how it's going coming up in the future. Have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you at the next video real soon. For now. Click, 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 click.